Good evening, listeners, and welcome along to Across the Line here on Tip FM with myself, Paul Carroll, on this Friday, the 5th of December 2025. Now, usually on the show every Friday evening, we look ahead to the weekend's sporting action in Tipperary. But on this week's episode, we have something a little bit different. We're going to do a bit of looking backwards and reflecting back on the year that was, because earlier in the week, I sat down with Tipperary forwards Jason Forde, Jake Morris and Darragh McCarthy to speak about 2025 and the successful year that Tipperary had. So it's a long conversation. We'll hear some of it today and some of it next Friday, because it's an hour and 15 minutes long of an interview. So we'll hear about the first 40 minutes of that on this evening's edition of Across the Line, and then we'll have the rest next Friday evening. So hope you enjoy. Lot to get through with the three lads, and let's get straight to it. So we'll have this, and we'll have a couple of ad breaks in the middle, and then Barry Drake will be looking ahead to the weekend's greyhound racing on at the end of the show. So that is coming up at the end of the show. But sit back, relax, and listen to the conversation with Jake Morris, Darragh McCarthy, and Jason Forde. Now, delighted to say, joined in studio by three Tipperary senior hurlers. First, we have now two-time All-Ireland winner, Hurler of the Year nominee, Jake Morris. Jake, good to have you here.
Thanks, Paul.
We also, sitting beside Jake, we have Jason Forde, now a three-time All-Ireland winner. Jason, good to have you here.
Cheers, Paul.
And finally, young Hurler of the Year, Darragh McCarthy is also here. Darragh, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, good to have you here, lads. Thanks for coming. We're into December now. We're going to look back on the year that was. Firstly, I suppose, Jason, how has the last few months been since July? Do you know, are you nearly sick of it all at this stage now, or do you ever get sick of looking back on an All-Ireland winning year?
Yeah, it's been busy. I suppose the Cup has done a fair tour around the county now at this stage, between schools and clubs and everything like that. But I think everyone has been good with their time, and as you say, we would have bitten your hand off for it this time last year. So when they do come around, you kind of have an obligation doing these kind of things. So no, it's been brilliant, in fairness. There hasn't been too much pressure we've kind of spread it around between the whole panel, so it's been enjoyable, very enjoyable. Yeah,
Darragh, you were in my parish last week bringing the cup around the school. How's that all been going around school to school? Because I'd say you've probably hit nearly every parish in the county at this stage.
Yeah, like Jason said there, it's been very enjoyable. I suppose, I think Jake mentioned a few times as well, it's for the next generation too. It's great to see so much delight among all the kids, and it's real eye-opener, I suppose, to what it does to young lads. And I suppose it's really important for players to be at the schools as well, to make it that bit extra special for all the kids.
Yeah, and you're just about 2 weeks, I'd say, back from your team holiday in Cape Town. How was that kind of, Jake, that kind of week or 10 days that you were down there?
Yeah, it was great, Paul. It was a really enjoyable trip. To cap off a serious year for us all. I think it was a place now that catered for all. You know, it was a great place to go to. Everyone really enjoyed themselves, and like I said, it was kind of the last bit of a time together as the group for 2025, and then I suppose the medal presentation, and now we're actually very focused on turning the page now and getting back to focusing on the first round of the league in early January. Yeah,
it's kind of weird that it feels like it's coming up already, but we'll spend today anyway looking back on the year, and we'll look forward to 2026 in the coming weeks. But I saw a few you did skydiving down in Cape Town. You were one of them, Jack, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
How was that?
Look, it was savage. I was delighted I'd done it now, but at the time I was kind of questioning myself why I put my hand up for it. But no, I think there was 15 or 20 of us went skydiving in 2 different days. So look, that's what I was saying. Cape Town really catered for all. There was activities, really good food, beaches, good weather, safaris. There was just everything to do out there. So there was a few other lads looking to go paragliding and stuff like that. But the wind, it's very windy out there, so that kind of stopped. But all to that, thank God. But no, it was a thoroughly enjoyable time.
And did either of you do the skydiving?
No.
No, leave for me now. So. We went to the beach instead.
Done a bit of training on the beach.
Yeah,
exactly. No, it's unreal. But like this time last year, you're back training already for 2026 now. But if we go back to maybe September of 2024, Jason, were you? I think Liam said that you sat down and had a conversation about the year ahead. Looking back on it now, where were you at that time? Were you kind of on the fence about whether to come back, or were you fully there, or what was that conversation like with Liam?
No, I was definitely fully there. I suppose, like us all, bitterly disappointed with how 2024 gone, and you know, when you're a question like that and a lot of stuff is kind of being thrown at you, there's only kind of one way to answer it, and that's, I suppose, trying to get yourself back up to the top, or get yourself back to a level where you're doing yourself justice. So yeah, we just had a really honest conversation, and you know, Liam kind of laid it out what the year was gonna be like, and I suppose what he expected from me, and that, you know, we were going to have to kind of up our standards and go that bit extra, and that, you know, it's there if you want to do it, but it's going to be tough. And yeah, just a really frank and honest conversation, and thank God things worked out then for finish.
Yeah, it's unreal looking back on it. But for yourself, Darragh, you come in, you were on the panel last year training with the lads on and off. First year kind of in the panel this year. How did you find that kind of step up to the senior and county grade, particular when lads were putting an extra focus, I'd say, on fitness and that at the pre-season? It must have been kind of a rude awakening into the whole setup.
Yeah, I suppose it was really eye-opener, I suppose, this year. The running and the intensity of it was I suppose, like I said, an eye-opener.
Your first one.
I
think I got 6 minutes my first 1.2, but I think it improved after that. But no, the intensity and the standards of senior in the county hurling is it's through the roof. But even looking 20s, the standards in every grade now is so high, but especially senior, and your accountability and all that, has to be top notch at senior hurling, and if standards slip any bit, there's lads letting you know, like, that's not good enough, and have to fix that, like. Yeah,
and like, Jake, you're vice captain this year. Like at that start of the year when those hard yards are being put in Clonakilty or wherever you're training early on, do you feel kind of more of an onus that, right, I'm one of the leaders of this group, I need to be at my peak and driving the thing forward even at the early stages of the year?
There probably was, yeah, but it wasn't individually. Like, I didn't feel like I had to be doing anything more than Jason or Darragh, to be fair. The way the group was, it was so level-headed, like, and there were so many good leaders in the squad that there was a realisation in us all, like, it wasn't just myself that more had to be done here, and we had to really get on top of everything, fitness, hurling, coming together closer as a team. So it wasn't just laid out on myself. Yeah. I played a part in it as much as the two boys did there, and everyone else. It was just a real collective kind of realisation that this thing has to really come up a notch or two in terms of importance in life, like in the steps of what you're doing day to day. This thing has to come up a notch or two in importance, and that was a collective thing from us all. Yeah. And everyone set standards in them early sessions. Everyone pushed himself to the absolute max, and you know, and once we had that work done, we were then able to compete, you know, early in the league, because we had the work done, and that was simply it.
Yeah, because Liam was sitting here in this studio last December, and we were talking about how in 2024, you know, you were well bet in a lot of matches for a finish, but when you watch the matches back, 55 minutes, you were kind of right there with teams, and then seemed to fall off. So was there like a time at the start of the year coming into this year where you kind of all sat down, you said kind of collectively there and said, right, we need to go at this? Was there like a team meeting at the start of the year kind of thing to kind of set the baseline?
Yeah, look, I think it's been fairly well documented. We had a trip away down to Kilworth, Army Barracks at the start of the year, start of, was it 2024, early 2024, start of the 2025 year, late 2024. And look, over the course of that weekend, we were challenged mentally, physically, and honestly, every way we were challenged possibly. And that weekend was the making of the team, because the hard conversations were had. Players spoke out openly, the management spoke out openly, and from that day, when we left Kilworth on the Sunday, we knew what we had to do, and it was just a matter of going out doing it every day. And but that was probably the real defining moment of the year, was when the squad came together. Yeah,
because like Jason, you've been involved in brilliant years with Tip, down years with Tip. I'm sure the effort is pretty much nearly the same for each year, but with all the effort you put in last year, you didn't get the results. So I'd imagine there was a lot of hurt after 2024. Like, supporters feel a level of hurt as well. But you're the lads who are down there 4 or 5 nights a week putting the effort in. So like this time last year, what was the kind of mood?
Yeah, sure. Like the place was on a fairly low ebb after the way things had gone. And I suppose you probably, first of all, you have to just go back and kind of look at yourself and see where can you get better as an individual, and where maybe did you not get to the standards you would have liked to. But like inter-county hurling is so competitive, and there's such little between all the teams, especially in Munster, that like if you're off any percentage in any given day, you're going to end up getting wiped. And like obviously this year went like exceptionally well, and we got the reward that we set out to get. But like I suppose it's been referenced a lot with that game in Ennis. Like that game in Ennis could have gone either way. And I suppose it was that finishing of the game that we were talking about there, the difference between 2024 and 2025. We finished that game so strong, and it kind of turned the year for us. Whereas the previous year, like we were still in the Munster Championship in 2024 coming into the Cork game, and we were well in that game, I think up until about 40 minutes, and then it kind of 45 minutes, and then it kind of switched. So yeah, I suppose just that finishing the games and weekends like Jake speaking about in Kilbert and stuff like that, while they're so far away from when you'll be playing Munster Championship and things like that, but it steals your mind, and it kind of gets the group that there's that bit of I suppose that they're willing to go that extra bit for each other, and it builds that bit of resilience as well. So you can't underestimate those things either, and obviously it built on from there into the training sessions and stuff like that as well, where lads were giving absolutely everything that they had, and I think that all stands to them when you come down to 10 minutes to go in a Munster Championship game or All-Ireland series. So yeah, that's probably the big difference really.
And you kind of got into the league then, and there was a kind of structure of the team set, and there was a familiar, the same lads were playing in the same positions, and you could see the structure of the team building throughout the league. You made your debut there against Galway, really difficult weather-wise day up in Pearse Stadium. How were you kind of going into that now, making your senior debut on the freeze and things like that?
Yeah, I suppose it was all about the environment really. You were really made comfortable, and really, I suppose you were really made comfortable with all the players around you. Like they ensured, it's your debut, just relax. It's just another match.
Yeah.
Just go out and enjoy it. But you mentioned the intensity, I suppose, of inter-county. That you really felt it in that match. That was a real eye opener again, of just your lungs blowing out of you like in that, and that was early on in the year like. So that a lot more work had to go in to get to probably Munster Championships level, and I suppose it did go in after collectively like. But yeah, I suppose you'd be nervous enough for it.
Yeah.
I suppose taking frees or whatever, but sure that's just the job you have to carry out on the day. But difficult weather conditions, you'd be that extra bit wary on the frees. But thankfully it went okay. It's okay for me, I suppose, and okay for the team on the night as well.
And how was it the early season for you? Because you were balancing the 20s as well, and were you kind of predominantly training with the seniors and then kind of going back to the 20s every now and again, or how was that managed?
Yeah, it was managed so well. I think Liam and Brendan were, to take their hats off to them for that. Like we were never make a decision on our own. They were always the decision makers for us. Like they ensured that we got the most out of both grades. Like, but yeah, it was predominantly senior training during the year, and then kind of on match week then for 20s you go back to the 20s for, say if it was a Wednesday game, you probably go back to previous Friday night, and then you train Friday, Sunday, and then be straight into the match on Wednesday. And then sure it was unreal. Like it was, you were training, you'd be playing, and you were playing senior then on Sunday, and then you're playing 20s Wednesday, and you're playing Sunday again. So all you're doing was playing matches, so it was class. Like you're getting. It's just matches upon matches. That's all you want as a player, like.
Yeah, no, it must have been hard all the same though with all those games. But as we look down through the year, got through the league really well. Mentioned that league opener against Galway. Brilliant win against Cork in the league. There was a great win against Clare. With kind of a late comeback there. Was that a draw or was that a win? That Clare game.
Darragh McCarthy got.
Yes, yeah. That was a great result down in Semple Stadium. Got to the league final then. What was the league final? Was a defeat to Cork, 324 to 23 points. What was the kind of feeling coming out after that game, Jake, of that league final? It was another defeat to Cork. We've had a few of them in the last kind of 2-3 years. What was the kind of, if you can reflect your mind back to coming out of Páirc Uí Chaoimh that day?
Yeah, look, we were happy with the league campaign, but we weren't happy with the league final itself. Probably didn't lay a glove on Cork that day, and I know it's very easy at the time to say, sure, the Munster Championship is coming around the corner, but we were probably a bit disappointed coming up the road that evening because there was a national medal on offer. But I think that night again we regrouped, had a bit of crack back up in Thurles after the league final, and 2 weeks later then we knew that this is where the serious stuff starts, and getting a performance and points against Limerick was just crucial. So as soon as the league final was over, couldn't really look in too much into it because the games are coming thick and fast. So overall we knew there was a lot of positives to be taken from the league. There was a couple of work-ons as well that we worked on between the league final and the first round of the Munster Championship, and then it was hell for leather then again for 6 weeks during the Munster Championship.
Yeah, I'd say that 6 week period of a Munster campaign is just crazy, Jason. Is it like just the matches are coming thick and fast? I'd say your body is broke up after a game with the intensity of it. What's that period of time like, those 6 weeks? Is it just kind of all consuming?
Yeah, very much so. As much as inter-county life is all consuming, I think for those couple of weeks in the Munster Championship, everything else is kind of in your life is pushed to one side really, because you're going from the games into recovery, into analysing the next opposition, looking back at maybe what happened the week before and where you can improve, and then what we're going to go after for the next opposition we're going playing. So yeah, there's an awful lot going into it, and you're just trying to keep yourself in one piece as well, because a niggly little hamstring injury or muscle injury, in previous times when you didn't have the Munster Championship the way it was, you'd get a chance to get back, but the way it is now, like something like that could keep you out, miss 2 games, and that could be your Munster Championship over with. So yeah, it literally just, you're doing everything you possibly can to get yourself right. And
you had like those periods where you had the first Munster Championship game, I think it was 6-7 days later, you had the second one, then you had the week off, and then it was the same for the third and fourth game. Like, those week breaks must be just go in a flash kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. But I suppose that they're the kind of times that you get a chance to kind of, I suppose, let the body recover some bit, and you're getting a bit of work in then as well. That's when you have the week break that you can actually
off, like,
that you can actually train. You can train hard in that. Let's say it could be a 15-on-15 game and train or something like that. Whereas when you only have the 6-day turnaround, like,
is it just a puck around kind of a train?
Yeah, like you might be back in till maybe the Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever it might be, and you're literally only doing maybe a recovery run or something like that, and then sure, Friday is only whatever it is, a bit of a puck round, as you say, 1 or 2 drills, name the team, and then you're into the weekend. So you're not doing really anything in those weeks because you can't. Especially like after that Limerick game, I think lads were just broke up, like. So you had to give lads just a chance to get their bodies right to be able to go again the following 6 days or whatever it was.
Yeah, that Limerick game, I'd imagine, that's, that fixture from probably the first night you're back trained, that it's Limerick first in the Munster Championship. That was your championship debut there. We mentioned your league debut there. Championship, Semple Stadium against Limerick, probably a whole another level again.
Yeah, I suppose was it 2023 he drew him as well.
Yeah. John McGrath got the
level. It was so cool, like you were in the stand for that, looking down, and you're like praying you get to play with the boys out there someday, like whether it's 10 years or 2 years or whatever, like you're looking down and say this is the coolest thing ever, like you're looking at the boys here, like one of the best games of the year, like draw game in the stadium packed out, and you're just praying you could play that one day. And then luckily enough, I suppose this year we got the chance to experience it, and it just didn't disappoint at all. It was everything you've nearly dreamed of and expected a packed out Semple Stadium to be against Limerick. I suppose we targeted probably a quick start against them. Luckily enough we got it. I suppose it just carried on then. The intensity went out throughout the whole game, and it just didn't disappoint. It was probably one of the most enjoyable games we've probably ever played. Like, it was just so cool. The crowd in top of you, the noise, and just unreal atmosphere of it. Standing
over that free, do you remember to level the game? It was just outside of 45, bit of an angle on it, not a gimme, wet day. What do you kind of remember going through your mind when you're standing over that?
Yeah, not much actually. I don't know. Just, I suppose, I think Seamus Kennedy ran over to me. He's just said, take as much time as you want, take as much time you need, compose, and just do what you try to do and whatever. But remember just taking an extra few seconds, I suppose, taking in the crowd and just taking in. And once you put the ball down, then it's shut down. You're in your own kind of space, in your own routine. That's that. You kind of block out kind of all the noise if you can at all, and just go through your routine. And thankfully it went over. But sure, with a slippy ball, like anything could happen, like, you know. So luckily enough, it went over.
That routine is nailed down at this stage. Like during the season, how often are you practicing frees on a given week?
I don't know. You probably spend most of the time before or after training, mostly after training, I suppose, and then maybe if you can a couple of days during the week as well. I suppose a lot of spare time you have outside of training is probably going down to frees and probably shooting as well. Like, I suppose that's probably the main thing you have to do as far as put the ball over the bar. Like, but obviously work rate and all that comes into play. Obviously, is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But I suppose after training you'd be practicing them and during the week too. Like, it's probably.
You would onto the field and tune. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Would you like to be like on your own at that?
Yeah, I would.
Bag of balls?
I would. Yeah.
Electricity bill is through the roof down too. The lights on the backfield so much, but
Go ahead.
past 10 or 11 o'clock at night you will see him out there.
And that only happened a few times now. No, it's nice to be on your own, just in your own headspace. Like, you would be in a match nearly, like, just trying to block out everything, trying to keep it as familiar as possible to a match.
Yeah, that Limerick game, Jake, like, a lot of times the last couple of years we've been ahead of Limerick at half time, and then they kind of have blitzed us in the second half at different times. The fact that, like, it was nearly set up to happen again, we were winning at half time and they had come back, gone into the lead, but you toughed it out and you got the point. I'd imagine a lot of kind of momentum, and it was probably a good dressing room to be in maybe after that match.
Yeah, sure. We were very aware of the third quarter blitz, I suppose, that was coming, and that was the difference between this tip team in 2025, was that no matter what was thrown at us, I think we would have stayed plugging away till the final whistle. In other years, I don't think we could have said that with much conviction. So we knew we had the juice in the legs to go 70 minutes with anyone, toe for toe. So, and we felt like we had a good squad as well. Our squad impact, our bench every day was impacting massively. So Conor Bowe had a big impact that day actually when he came on. I think he 7 or 8 tackles or something outrageous when he came on. So the feeling after that then was great, Paul, because look, if we didn't get a point out of that, it's kind of a bit of a sucker punch, because we felt like we went toe to toe with them and deserved something, and you know. But luckily, there's no luck about it. Darragh was always putting over that free wet ball or no wet ball. So the feeling then, I suppose, was, yeah, you have a point on the board early days, and I think that was a big one for the Tip supporters as well, because whatever we'd done in the league is the league at the end of the day, and we'd shown a bit of championships form against Limerick, who were such a good team. That probably gave the supporters another bit of a boost and said, yeah, look, we're liking what we're seeing here, and they're a good, honest team, and they followed us down the road then to Cork the following week again. So
now we're just going to step away from the lads for a few moments, take a quick ad break, and we'll continue our conversation after these. And you're very welcome back to Across the Line here on Tip FM with myself, Paul Carroll, on this Friday, the 5th of December 2025. Now let's jump straight back into my conversation with Tipperary forwards Jake Morris, Jason Forde and Darragh McCarthy. Yeah, well, that's important. That Cork game, like the build up to that, it was kind of coming off the league final, places sold out, red everywhere, going down, bit of a cauldron. 60 seconds in there, I'd say you get that red card and you're walking off the field. Like, reflect back on that time for you. Like, very difficult, obviously, for you walking off the field like that. Noel McGrath comes out to help you off, but in that moment, reflect back. What's it like for Darragh McCarthy when I think it was a Johnny Murphy flashed the red card?
Yeah, you don't. No one wants to be me in that situation. Like, it was probably the worst feeling, probably experience, obviously on a hurling field. Like, it was, you wouldn't wish it on anyone, to be honest. You wouldn't wish getting a red card on anyone, but you're just thinking, what have you done here? Like, you're just, why would I do it? Why did I do that? Like,
yeah.
But it's just, even think back now, you're still like, jeez.
And like walking off, like, I'd imagine the place is full of Cork supporters. They're probably cheering and jeering and everything. Like, you can hear all that, and you're sitting in the stands. Like, it's not at the end of the game where you can hop into the dressing room and go home. You have to sit down and watch. And I think there's three goals gone in the first 15 minutes. Like, reflect back on that for me when you're sitting on the in the stand.
Yeah, even when you see the red card coming, you're walking over to the ref and you're like, it couldn't be happening here. Like, it couldn't be, and you see the red and you just want the ground to swallow you up. And then you trot off then. And
do you remember what Noel said to you or anything, or Liam, when you were walking off?
I don't know what Liam said.
Go in and sit down and shut up.
I don't know what Liam said, no, I don't know. But Noel just said, don't mind him, don't listen to it. Obviously you can hear it, like, but he just tried to ease it a bit, like. Sure, only farm trotting over and Liam there as well. For all the boys after are so supportive, but when you see the few goals going in, like you're crying when you go off, and then you see one goal, and then there's more tears coming. And then you see another goal, and then the whole bench is full of tears nearly. But you just see it, and you feel like you let down the boys, and that's what you do. Yes, that's what you've done. Like, but after the game, then it was just all support and whatever, like, and get back on the road and back down to Ennis for the boys. And
that was probably where the under-20s come in to help. You got to play, I think, did you get to play a game in between the two? Yeah. On the field, when that happened, lads, Darragh gets sent off. What's your reaction? What's your communication out there? You're down to 14 from the very start against this kind of powerhouse Cork team at home. What was that like, Jay?
I suppose the game plan just went out the window.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, it was actually probably a blessing in disguise, because we had planned for a game plan that day that was similar enough to the way we actually set up in the All-Ireland final,
right? And
we didn't get to do it because we were a man down. So everything happens for a reason. Look, when Darragh went off, then I think they had a +1 back there, and Cork are hard enough to face with 15 men, let alone 14. So I think we struggled. But look, we actually, again, in the dressing room after, like, the way Liam handled that situation, and everyone supported Darragh, like, there was no one feeling sorry for themselves or anything like that. It was, whatever happened, we'll win together, we'll lose together. And Liam set the tone on that straight away, and he flipped it, and it was all about Clare coming away. But I actually think we stayed plugging away that day, you know.
Yeah.
We went tit for tat with them nearly the whole second half, and coming away, it was a small, like, it wasn't a moral victory because we were after getting hammered, but it was almost like, you know, we didn't die in each other today, lads. We stayed going, and it was tough. On other years, maybe we could have got beaten there by 30 points, with especially the run they got in us in the first half. So to be fair, everyone plugged away till the very end, even though, you know, the odds were against us. But coming away, then we still believed in ourselves. We were like, that was just an off day. Like, there's nothing more you can do about it or say about it. That's a really good Cork team, and hopefully to God we get to meet them again down the line. But it was very, very much flipped on the do or die battle then down in Ennis. What could we do? Only turn our attention to that straight away.
Yeah, and I remember the kind of press conference after Liam was kind of like that. I nearly walked out of that press conference thinking, you know what, that wasn't too bad. There's something there. So he handled that very well. Those kind of 2 weeks then, Jason, was that lead up to that Clare game. It was kind of all on the line. I'd imagine it was kind of laser focus. But I remember going into that game, you got off the bus in Ennis, and I just have it kind of printed in my head of this image of Liam running down from the bus towards the dressing room, and there's people lined up either side, roaring and shouting, and he gives a little fist bump. Like, that was one of the first times I felt that, whoa, there's a real support for this team going into that game down in Ennis.
Yeah, I think that was, you could start to see the kind of reconnect was kind of starting to come, and as Jake said, the week before, the 2 weeks before against Cork, like, I remember meeting people kind of the week after, and they were saying, you know, how good it was to see that we stayed plugging away. Like, you know, if that was tip of the previous year, we may have kind of lay down and died, like, whereas we didn't. I know we kind of got well bet for a finish, but everybody stayed stuck to what we were trying to do, and I suppose that just shows the supporters that you're giving it everything you can. And yeah, that day getting off the bus in Ennis, it does give you a fair lift, like, when you see that you're getting cheered into the dressing room. And like, we've had a good record in Ennis. You know, we won down there Liam's first year in 23.
Yeah.
We won down there in a tight game in 2019 as well. So we've had a decent record down there. And we knew, listen, you're playing Limerick in the first game, Cork in the second game. to get any points out of both of those, you know what I mean, you're going to have to be playing well and doing well. So we kind of always knew it was going to come down to Ennis to try and come out with Munster. And it was pretty straightforward for us. Like, you go down there, you win, there's a good chance that you'll set yourself up in the last weekend to come out in third place, or get to Munster final, and that's the way it kind of transpired.
Like, that game is so memorable. That game down in Ennis, it was a scorching evening, lovely day for hurling. 6 o'clock throw in on a Saturday. I think did you 3 or 4 goals in that first half, and up well at half time. Clare come back into it. Shane O'Donnell comes on, catches a ball. There's a huge roar, and again that was probably another time where in a different year do Tipperary go on and win that game, but you somehow kind of found a way in that last quarter.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose like different players kind of stood up at different times. I think Owen Connolly had 1 or 2 massive kind of plays during that last couple of minutes. Willie Connors came on and threw himself into everything.
That was Oisin's. I think Oisin's debut down there as well. I think he won a free. Darragh Stakelum and Shawnee Kelly.
Yeah.
And John won a few big frees late on as well, I remember.
Yeah, big time. So, like, there was different lads kind of stepping up all over the place, and like, probably, you know, you kind of felt, geez, if we can come out with this with a win here, like, this really does kind of turn our year on its head, because like the massive fill up you get out of a tight game like that, and the belief just starts to grow and grow, especially from a where we were 2 weeks previous. Yeah, it was massive. You can't understate how big of a game that was.
Yeah, and like that game as well, Jake, you made one of the last clearances in that game. Ryan, I think it was Ryan Taylor was it breaking through, or was it Mark Rogers who had a hand pass that just went over the hand of, I think was it Peter Duggan who was waiting for it. You get on the ball, clear it, it's blocked down, Oisin gets it, the ref blows a full-time whistle. Like, reflecting back on that now, like, that must have just been unbelievable to be on the field for that game.
Yeah, it was a topsy-turvy game. I'll never forget the roar when Shane O'Donnell came on.
And he caught that ball.
It was deafening. And the wind had kind of gone out of us a small bit, and we kind of needed the boys coming on to give us a bit of a G-up, and that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what a squad is for. But the feeling after that game was excellent, because, like, for example, Craig Morgan, that was his first win in the Munster Championship.
I watched it back today. Craig actually falls to his knees.
Yeah, and there's like, we haven't won a game in Munster since 2023, since the down there in 2023. Is that right? We drew. We're after drawing a lot of games. And Seamus Kennedy, I remember him saying it in one of the meetings before the Clare game. But he's like, there's no more victories this weekend. We need 2 points. We need a win, and that's it. Like, so that's exactly what we had to go for, and the feeling after that was unreal. Just even for all Oisin and like all the younger lads that got their first wins, and it was just massive, really, for the group. And look, at the end of the day, it didn't really make a difference if we didn't go on and beat Waterford the following weekend. But I suppose it allowed us the opportunity to play in our own backyard to get out of Munster. And I think it was referenced after that game where everyone was a bit happy in the dressing room. I think some lads were looking around like, we haven't won anything here now, we have to calm it down. But I remember it was said, lads, enjoy this tonight, and tomorrow we'll focus on Waterford. So that was the way we but it was unreal feeling down there coming out of it, because they're like, I know they were missing a few, but they're still a very, very strong team, fair hard to beat. Especially, I know we've a good record down there, but you're getting nothing easy off them, and it was just a massive win for the belief really came up in the group after it.
Yeah, it's kind of the easy thing to pinpoint as the turning point of the year, the sliding doors moment, even because you were suspended that day there. Andrew Ormond kind of came into the team, and look what he went on to do in the year as well. So it was a real sliding doors moment for the team. The Waterford game then, if you look at it on paper, what was the final score? 130 to 121. It seems straightforward, but again, that was a last quarter kind of a victory. They came back into it, and that was Oisin who came on and got the goal that day. So that would have been your first win, let's say, on the field with the lads at the senior grade in championship.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, like again, it was scorching day in the stadium as well, and it was probably more or less packed out. But like I said, that score was a 130 to 121. Was out. It didn't feel like that at the time. Like,
they got a goal after 10 seconds.
Yeah,
they were 1-3 up, I think, weren't they?
Yeah,
1-2 up.
Yeah, 1-2 or 1-3 up.
You got a point, Jake. You had to run around the referee.
Yeah, we got a few settling scores. Jake and think Jake probably picked off our first probably 2 or 3 scores.
Yeah, you got a sideline, Jason, early on in that game as well. Yeah.
And Andy had a massive first half that day. He was all over the shop.
Yeah, we picked leaders. Probably stood up that day and got us going. Did we go in probably a couple of points up at half time?
Yeah.
Probably 2 or 3 points up, and then listen, I think we went up probably 5 or 6 in the middle of the second half, and they brought it back to a point like.
Yeah.
And you're thinking like that was down in it. You're probably the boys were up 9 points at half time. They bring it back to a draw, and then a couple of boys stand up. Sean Keely gets a point, and that's kind of what happened again. And I think Noel came on. Darius Lakem popped it out, and we go. I think that brought us up probably 2 or 3 points again. And then they might have came back down and get a score, but it was kind of topsy turvy the whole time again. Like, and then it's probably 3 points up. Then Reese gets a puck out, and we kind of launch it down the field, and then get the goal. And then that kind of settles it. Then like Oisin taps it away. He made. I don't know how he actually ended up getting it. Was he kind of turned around in a circle, and then it was unreal finish. He made such hard work, but probably. Middle enough hand pass for me, like
pass,
Celtic enough. kind of went up over his head, and he done well to catch it. Like he kind of went around and then knocked the goalie nearly. That was class finish.
Yeah,
and that kind of settled it in. Like
that booked the place then in the All Ireland series, and the year kind of opens up then, Jason, once you get out of Munster, because it's such a hard thing to do is get out of Munster at the start of the year. That's probably the number one aim, like.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You hit the nail on the head. Like, that's the first goal that's going down on anyone's sheet is get out of Munster, because it is so tough. And it gave us kind of a chance to get lads maybe right as well. That maybe carrying knocks and stuff like that. Like, I don't think you didn't play against Laois.
No, I don't think I trained for 2 weeks after. 3 weeks.
1 or 2 other lads that were nursing a few knocks. So it kind of just gives you a chance to get those lads right. Was it 3 week break?
3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks. So like, you got to do get a bit of work into lads then that needed it as well. Get a right bit of training into us. The A versus B matches were like, at a good standard as well, because places were up for grabs. Like, again, and you kind of seen that throughout the year. Like, different lads come on to the 26, different lads came in and out of the team. So I think everybody felt they kind of had a chance if they went well inside in the stadium. Yeah, Liam was going to give them a chance, like, and he did show that with the panels he put out and the teams that he put out.
Yeah, and we mentioned there, Jake, just about like you didn't train for those 2 weeks. You were injured. It's probably not known to the extent, but you were kind of struggling with injury for a lot of this year. And just kind of getting your body right for games by the sound of things.
Yeah, I had an issue in my Achilles the week before, or the training before the league final, and sure, unfortunately after that you don't have any time to get yourself right. So look, with Paddy O'Brien and Dr. Brendan Murphy, like, you're in the best hands, and Angelo Walsh, our S&C, it was really just managing it week to week. But like, I was fine to play matches and stuff. It was just really, when the ground started hardening up then in the middle of summer, it was about kind of trying to not overdo the Achilles. I think it was a bit of tendonitis in both Achilles, and just trying to keep on top of it and keep fresh. And that 3 week break was massive for us. It allowed us to, like Jason said, get work into lads we needed it, get a bit of rehab into others, and have a full look at the squad again, because it was open doors after the Waterford game. It was, you know what I mean, it was open season again for boys in terms of putting their hands up and stuff. So for me, it was a really important few weeks to allow me to get back on top of that injury again coming into the All-Ireland series. Yeah, and
the All-Ireland series, the Laois game, I have that written down. What is it? 332 to 18 points. You scored 2-5 that day, Jason. I've down here into the quarter-final against Galway, 128 to 217. That was Oisin O'Donoghue goal again. Noel played that lovely ball into him, and that was the ticket then into the All-Ireland semi-final. And for a lot of lads on the panel, it was the first time playing in Croke Park. Darragh, for you, going up the roads to play in Croke Park for your first time, I think, as well, what do you kind of remember in the build-up to that All-Ireland semi-final?
Yeah, I suppose you're so excited. I'd never been to Croke Park before that.
Go away, you've never been?
No, maybe if I was 3 or 4 years of age, maybe. But
go away.
So
did you get there at all? Were you there at all before?
Joe not bring you up now?
No. I might have been there once now. I don't remember.
Yeah, but even in the build up to the game, you didn't say, right, I might go up and have a look at the place.
No,
or
I
anything,
wasn't going driving up. No,
He wasn't allowed onto the field. They freeze.
No, it was so exciting. Sure, it was like you've been looking at teams in the past, like Paddy Maher and Shamie Cannell and all them lads. And boys, semi-final in 2019 and final in 2019, you're looking at it like, wow, looking at that. Hopefully, it might be able to experience that one day. And it comes along, and I suppose you just have to take it moment by moment and stride by stride. But that was so exciting, and we came off the bus that day, and the crowd up above in the
back of the stand,
that gives you some lift. Like, that was unreal. The effort, they didn't have to do that at all. Like, effort that goes into that, and that gives you shivers nearly walking in along, and it means so much to people then. Like, that gives you another eye opener. Like, we're not here just to say, wow, we got a Munster, fair play to us. Like, we're going to go and try to win this. Like.
And that is where we're going to leave this week's edition of that interview with Jason Forde, Darragh McCarthy and Jake Morris. Not usually that we have cliffhangers or anything like that here on Across the Line, but time constraints, it's an hour and 15-minute interview. We can't fit that into a 45-minute show, including ad breaks. So we will play the rest of that next Friday evening, where the lads will look forward and speak about that game against Kilkenny. So many talking points from that, particularly, I suppose, with Darragh's red card. We get into all of that, and we get into the All-Ireland final, the build-up, the aftermath and everything. So there's plenty more to look forward to on next Friday evening's edition of Across the Line, when we hear the rest of that interview with Darragh McCarthy, Jason Forde and Jake Morris. So let's just take a quick ad break, and we'll have Barry Drake bring us the Greyhound Racing update after these. And you're very welcome back to the third and final part of Across the Line here on Tip FM with myself, Paul Carroll, on this Friday, the 5th of December 2025. Now, usually we would run you down through the fixtures and what's happening in Tipperary over the course of the weekend, but we're just caught for time on this week's episode, so I'm going to have to get you to tune into the news bulletins over the weekend, and the lads will keep you up to date on what's happening around the Premier County. But let's have a quick word with Greyhound Racing, because at this time of a Friday evening, it's time to talk dogs with Barry Drake.
Tip FM's Greyhound News Update with Greyhound Racing Ireland, your Christmas party destination across the nation.
Once again, there's some fantastic greyhound racing to look forward to over the course of the next couple of nights. We're going to look ahead to the racing programme that's down for decision tonight at Clonmel Greyhound Stadium, where the first race on the night will get underway at 7:30. And the first race is an interesting race here, because it's an AO A1 contest, and I'm going to side with trap number 1 here, which is Priceless Hero, who's owned by David Hickey and John Ryan in Golden. An impressive winner last time at A1 level, when notching up a 17th career success in a smart time of 28.80. And going on that winning performance, I could see the informed tracker register a hat-trick of straight successes, so certainly one to keep an eye on. We also have the Munster Christmas Cup with €5,000 to the winner getting underway. This is going to be a great attraction over the course of the next couple of weeks, sponsored by the Village Kennels. In the opening heat, trap number 2, Slippery Brine, stands out here for champion trainer Graham Holland, owned by Larry Dunn in Dundalk. It only has 4 career starts, did get off the mark 2 runs ago and ran well in defeat last time out. Looks a real nice sort going forward, and certainly will run very well. But I suppose the likely favourite is trap number 4, Disapproach, who created such a favourable impression when winning on the first time of Askin recently in 28-22 around Limerick, trained by Pat Buckley for Tom Quinn and Ned Morrissey. Looks real exciting greyhound, and definitely one for the future. In the second heat, Honey Scout should win for Tipperary trainer Michael O'Donovan, owned by David and Michael Power down in Butlerstown in County Waterford. A 17.48 winning display in a recent sprint around Curraheen Park. It's another exciting prospect. The third heat is another fantastic contest here. Pat Buckley is represented with trap number 4, Sing Along Curly, who brings the standout form to the race and should get the job done. So looking forward to it. Elsewhere in the fourth heat, Bombay Special was a 28.52 winner around Shelbourne Park last time, of course, owned by Jack Ryan in Thurles, of course, and trained by Graham Holland. It's won 4 of its 5 career starts. That one has leading claims there in heat number 4. So really am looking forward to that competition over the course of the next couple of weeks. Always one of the big events on the racing calendar at Clonmel Greyhound Stadium. And staying with Clonmel, of course, they have their usual Sunday night racing programme down for decision getting underway shortly after 6 o'clock. Aaron O'Hanlon is a young trainer that's been doing extremely well for quite some time now. He's got Swift Palace in race number 4, running from the inside of the track, of course. Was a winner 2 runs ago when winning in 28.95. Ran well in defeat last time. If producing one of its quickest starts, I think it'll be another winner for the local talented trainer. Elsewhere in race number 7, trap number 1 is well drawn here. Poker Queen for David Flanagan, who's another Tipperary trainer that's been doing quite well in recent times. Should go very close there from the inside of the track. Swift Haley is the likely danger in trap number 6. That's another one with big claims for Aaron O'Hanlon on the night. And just in terms of race number 10 on Sunday night, of course, Morris Organ is represented with Popular Jacko in trap number 6. That one has claims of getting the job done, but I'm going to side with trap number 2 for young trainer Emer Dunn, who's been making a name for herself in recent times. Emer's Ariel caught the eye last time and could well follow up. It's only an April puppy and going the right way, so plenty to look forward to there over the course of the weekend. Elsewhere, finally, of course, we have to touch on Shelbourne Park on Saturday night. Some good racing action down for decision, as you would expect, with the 2025 Bernard Barry Christmas Oaks getting underway with €15,000 to the winner. Bush Park Mel can land the first heat for champion trainer Graham Holland, well drawn in trap number 1. Main danger there is 4 Sing-Along Polly for Pat Buckley. In other races, Ballydoyle Tina, as trained by Graham Holland, will start as the one of the leading fancies in the second heat, but will find it hard to get the better of Magical Mag, of course, who's got sensational form in the book, of course. A recent winner of the Lifford Oaks, a winner on Derby final night for Claude Jordan trainer Patrick Guilfoyle. That will, of course, start as one of the leading fancies for Outright Glory. And what a way to end the year if Magical Mag could win that competition. It's been a great year also for the Guilfoyle family. Elsewhere in the competition, keep an eye on Lone Calling in heat number 3, of course, trained by Michael O'Donovan. That greyhound has got loads and loads of pace. So, yeah, very much looking forward to that competition as well. It's always one of the highlights on the racing calendar at the back end of the year. That, of course, and the Kingdom Derby, which will get underway down in Tralee next Friday night. That's sure to carry plenty of Tipperary interest as well in that competition. So although coming up to a Christmas time, busy time at the track, of course, with all the various Christmas parties around the country, we still have some top class racing action to look forward to over the course of the next couple of weeks.
And many thanks, as always, to Barry Drake there for giving us the rundown on what's happening in the world of greyhound racing, both here in Tipperary and further afield as well, over the course of this coming weekend. Now, that's just about all we got time for on this week's edition of the show. But a reminder, the Tipperary Club Draw will be broadcast from New York. It's taking place on Friday evening in New York, but that will be the middle of the night here in Ireland. So it's going to be broadcast on air Saturday evening, 6 o'clock, if you want to tune in to the Tip GA Clubs Draw from New York City. So that's something to look forward to on Saturday evening. And then next Friday evening, a reminder, we will hear the remainder of that interview with Darragh McCarthy, Jake Morris and Jason Forde as they hone in on the All-Ireland semi-final and the final and everything that went along with that. So lots to look forward to on Tip FM. But for myself, Paul Carroll, on this week's edition of Across the Line, it's bye for now.